Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Miss.
Welcome to our mathematics class. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Igusti Agung Ayurai Angelita Utami, but you can call me Miss Angelita. I will be your teacher for this class. Now, since today is our first day, I would like to know you too. Let's start with you. What is your name?
My name is Sido Putogusya Pramana Putra. You can call me Agustia, and I am the class leader here. How are you today, Miss?
Is It is nice to meet you too, Agustia. I'm very well, thank you. Before we start our lesson today, it is better for us to pray first so that everything runs smoothly. Agustia, could you please lead the prayer today?
Yes, Miss. Friends, before we study, let's pray together. Pray begin. Pray finish.
Thank you, Agustia. Now, please look at the screen on slide. Today we are going to learn a new topic. It is counting principle. Are you ready to learn, Agustia?
Yes, Miss Angelita, I am ready.
Now, let's look at the next slide. Before we start our main lesson, let's take a look at our learning objective for today. We have four learning objectives. First, you will understand the concept of the counting principle. Second, you will learn to identify the addition rule and the multiplication rule. Third, you will be able to apply this counting principle to solve simple counting problems. Finally, you will be able to use this principle in real life situation. By the end of today's lesson, I hope all of you can achieve this learning objective. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, Miss Angelita.
Alright, let's move on to the first topic, the counting principle. Basically, this principle helps us determine the total numbers of possible ways or outcomes of an event. The first rule in the counting principle is the addition rule. We use this rule when we have choices or events that occur separately, meaning they cannot happen at the same time. As you can see on the slide, if the first event can occur in m ways and the second event can occur in n ways, then the total numbers of ways for either the first event or the second event to occur is total ways equals m plus n. In this formula, m represents the numbers of ways the first event can occur, and n represents the numbers of ways the second event can occur. The keyword here is R. Moving forward, we have the extension of the addition rule. We use this extension when we are dealing with more than two mutually exclusive events. The formula extends naturally. Total ways equals n1 plus n2 plus n3 and so on up to np. Here, n1 represents the numbers of ways the first event can occur, n2 represents the numbers of ways the second event can occur, and 3 represent the numbers of ways the third event can occur, and NP represent the numbers of ways the P or final event can occur. Basically, no matter how many separate choices or events you have, as long as they are mutually exclusive, you simply add all the possible ways together. Now, let's look at this example to understand how the addition rule works. In this problem, RD and Nugroho are in different cities and want to travel to city C. As shown in the diagram, RD can travel from city A to city C in four different ways. Meanwhile, Nugroho can travel from city B to city C in three different ways. Since these route options are separate alternative, we use the addition rule. In other words, a traveler can choose a route from city A to or a route from city B. Therefore, we add the numbers of available routes. 4 plus 3 equals 7. So the total numbers of route options available to reach city C is 7. This example shows that when the choices are separate and connected by the word or, we use the addition rule. Now, let's move on to the next fundamental rule, the multiplication rule. Unlike the addition rule, we use this rule when an event consists of several sequential steps. This means the event happen one after another to form a single outcome. The formula for this rule is total numbers of ways equals m times n. In this formula, m represents the numbers of ways the first event can occur, and n represents the numbers of ways the second event can occur after the first event can occur. In short, when a process involves step 1 and step 2, we multiply the numbers of ways. Next, we have the extension of the multiplication rule. Like the previous rule, this extension is used when a process consists of more than two sequential steps. Instead of just two steps, we may have three, four, or even more steps that must occur one after another. The general formula becomes total ways equal n1 times n2 times n3 times and so on up to nk. Here, n1 is the numbers of ways for the first event, n2 for the second event, n3 for the third event, and nk represent the numbers of ways for the k or last event in the sequence. In short, no matter how many steps there are as long as they are sequential and must occur together to form a single outcome, we simply multiply all the numbers of ways. Now, let's look at an example to see how the multiplication rule is applied to a road problem. In this case, Amir is in city A and plans to travel to city C, but he must go through city B. Let's break the journey into sequential steps. First, from city A to city B, the diagram shows 5 possible routes labeled P, Q, R, S, and T. Second, from city B to city C, there are 3 possible routes labeled K, M, and N. To complete the trip, Amir must take step 1 and then step 2. Since this event occur in sequence to from one journey, we use the multiplication rule. 5 times 3 equals 15. Therefore, Amir can take 15 different routes from city A to city C. Alright everyone, after discussing the examples, now it is quiz time. Let's test your understanding of what we have learned today. Here is the quiz question. Sari has 4 pairs of shoes and 5 bags. Before going to school, she chooses 1 pair of shoes and 1 bag to use. How many choices can Sari make? Would anyone like to try?
I think the answer is 20 choices because choosing shoes and a bag are sequential steps. So we multiply 4 by 5.
Excellent, that's correct. Thank you for trying. As we can see on the slide, since Sari chooses one pair of shoes and one bag, these are sequential steps. Therefore, we use the multiplication rule, so 4 times 5 equals 20. Great job! To close our lesson today, let's look this slide. For the summary of counting principle, let's review what we have learned. First, remember the definition. Counting principle are rules used to find the total numbers of possible outcomes of an event. Second, we have the addition rule. We use this for mutually exclusive events where the events cannot happen at the same time. The formula for the total outcome is simply m plus n. Third, there is the multiplication rule. We use this when an event has multiple sequential steps that happen one after another. The formula is m times n. Finally, as an extension, please remember that both rules can be extended to solve problems involving more than just two events or steps. Excellent work today, everyone. You have learned about counting principle, the addition rule, the multiplication rule, and how to use them in real life situation. I hope today's lesson help you understand counting principle better. Before we end our lesson, does anyone have any question?
No, Miss Angelita, everything is clear. Thank you for today's lesson.
You're welcome, Agustia. Thank you everyone for your participation today. Now, before we finish our class, I would like to ask the class leader to lead us in prayer.
Yes, Miss Angelita. Attention, please. Before we finish our class, let's pray together. Pray begins. Pray finish.
Thank you, Agustia. Have a great day, everyone. Stay healthy, keep learning, and see you in our next lesson. Bye bye.